Hello everyone! Welcome to the fascinating world of chemical reactions. Chemical reactions are the fundamental building blocks of our universe. They are the invisible thread that connect every aspect of our existence, from the air we breathe to the food we eat. Join us to explore what chemical reactions are, types of chemical reactions, and chemical reactions in our daily life.
But why? Before we start, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the esteemed members of our presentation team. Each of these individuals brings a unique set of skill and passion for the topic at hand. Please join me in welcoming Zida Sufi Muharomi, Suci Marshanda, Hesti Zahra Kurniawati, and last but not least, Rika Wahyu Wijaya.
Introduction to chemical reaction. What is for chemical reaction? Chemical reaction, it is a chemical change in which one or more substances are destroyed and one or more new substances are created. For example, before H2 gas and O2 gas yield H2O. Part of a chemical reaction, reactants yields products. Reactants are substances that are destroyed by the chemical change or bonds break. And the product are substances created by the chemical change or new born from. And the arrow is read as yields. Other symbols in chemical reaction: S for solid, L for liquid, G for gas, AQ for aqueous solution or the substance is dissolved in H2O, plus spartus, two or more reactants or products. Yields syn spartus reactants from products. Next, evidence for a chemical reaction. In the first, evolution of light or heat. In the two, temperature change. A change in temperature can also be evidence of a chemical reaction. Some reactions give off heat while others absorb it. For example, when you mix baking soda and hydrochloric acid, the reaction absorbs heat and the mixture gets colder. In the three, formation of a gas. Gas formation is another piece of evidence that a chemical reaction has occurred. When baking soda and vinegar are mixed, carbon dioxide gas is produced. 4. Color change. When substances involved in a chemical reaction change color, it is evidence of a chemical reaction. For examples, when iron rusts, it changes color from silver to reddish brown. 5. Formation of a precipitate. A precipitate is a solid that forms when two solutions are mixed. Precipitation is often evidence of a chemical reaction. For example, when silver nitrate and sodium chloride solution are mixed, a white precipitate of silver chloride is formed. Overall, the presence of any of these 5 pieces of evidence suggests that a chemical reaction has occurred. However, it is important to note that the absences of these Second does not necessarily mean that a reaction has not occurred.
So for the next is word equations. So word equations are the statement that indicates the reactants and product in a chemical reactions. For example, in the slide, this word equations is read as solid iron and chlorine gas react to produce solid iron trichloride. For the next is how to translating word equation to Scladen equations. A Scladen equation uses chemical formulas rather than words to identify the reactants and product of a chemical reactions. So, for example, this word equations translating to Scladen equations become solid Fe plus gas Cl yields solid FeCl3. Okay, one more example. So for this Claton equations, for solid 6Na plus solid Fa2O3 yields solid 3Na2O plus solid 2Fe. So the numbers preceding the chemical formula are coefficients. They are used to balance the reactions. So the number preceding the chemical formula for Na is 6. Na2O is 3 and Fe is 2. So these three are coefficients. And the number within the chemical formula are subscripts. So you can read the above balance reactions as 6 atoms of solid sodium plus 1 formula unit of solid iron oxide yields 3 formula units of solid sodium oxide and 2 atoms of solid iron. Or 6 moles of solid sodium plus 1 mole of solid iron oxide yields 3 moles of solid sodium oxide plus 2 moles of solid iron. You have to remember that chemical reactions can never be read in terms of gram, only in terms of particle or groups of particle or moles. So the next one is types of chemical reactions. So there are 5 basic types of chemical reactions. The first one is single replacement reactions, and then double replacement reactions, synthesis reaction, decomposition reactions, and combustion reactions. So for the next types of reactions is single replacement reactions. A single replacement reactions is a single and combined element replaces another element in an ionic compound. There are 2 reactants and 2 product. Single replacement reactions have the general form A plus BC yields AC plus B. So for the example, zinc plus copper 2 sulfate yields zinc sulfate plus copper.
The second type of chemical reaction is double replacement reaction. Double replacement reaction is part of two aqueous ionic compounds which pledge to form two new compounds. There are two reactions and two products. Example double replacement reaction is silver nitrate plus sodium chloride yield silver chloride and sodium nitrate. Next, the general form of a double replacement reaction is AB plus CD yield AD plus CB. Based to experiment, the reaction can occur if 1. A solid precipitate is produced, or 2. A gas is produced, or 3. Water is produced. If none of the above are produced and both products are aqueous, then there is no reaction. Next, example of double replacement reaction. 1. Lead nitrate and sodium iodide react to form lead iodide and sodium nitrate. This is an example of a reaction precipitate forming. 2. Hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide react to form sodium chloride and water. This is an example of a reaction water forming acid base and neutralization. 3.
Calcium carbonate and hydrochloric acid react to from calcium chloride and carbonic acid. This is an example of a reaction gas forming. Next, the third types of chemical reaction is synthesis reaction. Synthesis reaction is two or more simple substances or the reaction combine to form a more complex substance or the product. Example is synthesis reaction, magnesium and oxygen react to form magnesium oxide. Next, types of synthesis reaction. 1. Element A plus element B yield compound. Sodium and chlorine gas react to form sodium chloride. 2. Element plus compound A yield compound B. Example is oxygen gas and sulfur dioxide gas react to form sulfur trioxide gas. 3. Compound A plus compound B yield compound C. Example is calcium oxide and water react to form calcium hydroxide. Next, synthesis reaction content. Metallic and non-metallic element react to form ionic compound. The result compound should be charge balanced, the crisscross method. Example, for Le plus O2 yield 2Le2O. And non-metal react with each other to form covalent or molecular compound. You should be able to draw a valid Lewis structure for the product. Example is 2H2 plus O2 yet 2H2O or H2 plus O2 yet A2O2 but not H2 plus O2 yet 2OH. Next, decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction is a more complex substance or the reaction break down into two or more simple part product. Synthesis and decomposition reaction are opposites. The product are as always simpler than the reaction. An example of a decomposition reaction is hydrogen gas and oxygen gas react to from hydroxide ion. Thank you.
The fifth type of chemical reaction is combustion reaction. Involve oxygen O2 as a reactant combining with another substance. Our combustion reaction are exothermic and complete combustion of a hydrocarbon always produce CO2 and H2O. And incomplete combustion of hydrocarbon will produce CO and possibly C, black carbon soot as well. And example 1, CH4 plus 2O2 react to be CO2 plus 2H2O. This is complete combustion and blue flame. Example second, CH4 plus 1 and a half O2 react to be CO plus 2H2O. This is an complete combustion and yellow flame. Example 3, CH4 plus O2 react to be C plus 2H2O. This is incomplete combustion and yellow flame cell. Next is the application of chemical reaction. There are 4 applications of chemical reaction. And the next, the first of the first application of chemical reaction, that is industry. Application of chemical reaction industry, that is plastic, fertilizers, and pharmaceuticals. Next, the second application of chemical reaction, that is environment. Application of chemical reaction environment, that is the carbon cycle and the nitrogen cycle. And the third is application of chemical reaction, that is biology. Application of chemical reaction biology, that is metabolism and respiration. And the last application of chemical reaction, that is energy. Application of chemical reaction, the combustion of fossil fuels and the generation of electricity and batteries. Thank you.
That is the end of our presentation. However, I'd like to quickly summarize that chemical reactions are essential processes in which the atoms of one or more substances are rearranged to form new substances with different chemical and physical properties. Understanding the different types of chemical reactions is important in many fields, including biology and material science. Thank you so much for your interest and attention. Have a good day.